Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel that is Science Unlocked. And with today's video, we will be entering into a new series of sessions where we will be dealing with the class 6th science syllabus. Now, the very first thing that we are taking up today is related with your breakfast. What did you had in your breakfast? Now, everyone will come up with a different answer, but one thing will remain same, that whichever thing that we had in the breakfast, the food that we had in the breakfast will going to have a specific factor in it. That means we all have a common reason behind having the food or the breakfast in the morning. The reason behind that is that the food that we eat provides us energy for growth, development, repair of the body, and of course, to provide us the energy to do different kinds of work. But in today's session, we are going to look into that how exactly the food that we eat comes to nature and how exactly it is going to be used by us. Now, one thing before moving ahead in terms of what exactly and how exactly the food comes into play and how exactly we use it from the nature, we extract it from the nature, there is one basic thing that I would like to throw some light into, that is about the concept of ingredients that we see in our food. Now, whenever we talk about any kind of food, the food will definitely going to have at least one ingredient, and on an average the ingredient will going to be minimum ingredient that we will observe is 2 or 3. Now, it can be like this, that we are talking about something which doesn't have much of things into it, but there are on the other things material which will going to have more than 2 or 3 ingredients in them. Now, what happens is that in case of some sections of food, the ingredients will going to be limited and it will going to be common. For example, if we talk about salt, salt is something that we will observe in maximum food articles that we are having. For example, if we talk about veggies, if we talk about properly cooked rice, if we talk about chapati, if we talk about different sort of soups, in fact there are certain desserts as well where we will observe that a small quantity of salt is added to it. Now, one such common ingredient is water. We can actually not like come to a conclusion or come to a point where we can say that we can cook food without involvement of water. Some or the other way we will be incorporating water into the food, whereas apart from these common ingredients, we do have some specific ingredients which will going to be specific with reference to the food that we are eating. For example, if we talk about a particular veggie, let us say we are talking about lentils. Now, if we are talking about lentils, then in that case, I'm going to have a specific kind of lentil in it, and that becomes the specific food. On the other hand, if I talk about something like rice, the rice becomes the important ingredient which will not going to match with the other ones. So that is how the importance of ingredients is more with reference to the food that we are eating. Now, we move to the next important aspect of the topic, that is where exactly we get the food from. And I know this thing very well, that over here we can come to the modes of nutrition, that is, one is autotrophic and the other one is heterotrophic. So let's get into the first point, that is with reference to the autotrophic mode of nutrition, where the plants are capable of making their own food, whereas in case of heterotrophic, the organisms are unable to make their food. But when we talk about that, where exactly does the food come from, whether we talk about phototrophic organisms, or to be more specific, autotrophic organisms or the heterotrophic organisms, in that case we come to two important aspects, that is with reference to their sources, that what exactly are the sources. And we will see that there will going to be two set of sources, that is plants and animals. That means the cases where the fruits, vegetables, rice or any other plant part is acting as a food, that will come under the category of plant as a source of food. Whereas if we talk about the animal as a source of food, here comes all the animals which are used for edible purposes and the products that we are getting out of it. For example, the egg, milk, meat, soya and different other things. Now what happens is that apart from all these things, what we need to take care about is that the plants and animals which are acting as a source, what exactly is the part which is acting as a source of food? Are you able to eat and consume everything as a food out of the plant part? Then I'm sure you will come as the answer that will come to you will be no. We cannot consume each and every part of the plant as a food. So the plant part that we are consuming as a food comes under the specific category which is known as the edible material, or anything which can be used for eating purposes. So what happens is, in case of plants as well, we will observe that there are going to be different set of parts which can be consumed as their edible part, and it will going to be specific with reference to different set of examples. So the very first thing that we are looking into is the seeds. Now, as the example says, mustard plant, coconut, pea, wheat, rice, all these things are seeds of the plant that we are consuming as food. But on the other hand of this particular aspect, we are not consuming everything from that particular plant. We are simply consuming the seed of that particular plant. On the other hand of this thing, what happens is we are not going to consume each and every seed for edible purposes. For example, if I talk about mango, apple, we are not going to use these particular seeds for the purpose of eating purposes. So ultimately we will see that there are going to be specific parts for specific plants which can be kept into the category of edible plant part, whereas in other cases it is not the same situation. For example, here we come to the fruits category, the apple, mango, orange, different sets of fruits that we generally consume. Similarly, we have leaves as the edible part. Similarly, we have stem as the edible part. Then we come to roots and flowers as the edible part of the plant. Now you will observe that in all the set of different sections that we have taken as the edible part of the plant, we are on one hand consuming almost every part of the plant, but not with reference to the same plant. In one plant we are consuming its flower, on the other plant we are consuming its seed. What happens is, like we might see on the contrary to that a particular plant may have more than one part as an edible part. For example, we were talking about the orange plant. In case of orange plant, we will see that we are consuming the fruit out of it, not the seed. But we do have some examples. For example, we have banana, we have fenugreek, that is methi, we have coconut, which where we are actually consuming more than one part of the plant as the edible part. Like in case of banana, we are using the stem, flowers, fruits as well. In case of methi as well, we are using the stem, we are using the leaves, and in coconut as well, we are using the seed, we are using the flower itself and some extract of the flower. So we do have different set and different parts of the plant which we are consuming as the edible part of the plant. So this is what exactly happens when we talk about the different set of plant parts which are acting as the edible plant or edible part of the plant. So here we are going to complete this particular part, and in the next session we will talk about the different set of animal products that we are consuming for the purpose of food. Till then, take care everyone and keep learning.